Two little Romanian twins, conjoined at the head, are traveling to Cleveland next month in hopes that a series of complex and risky surgeries can separate them. The 3-year-old girls, Anastasia and Tatiana Dogaru, have spent the past 2 years in Dallas, Texas. Doctors there researched their condition, but ultimately decided not to separate the girls. Now the girls and their family are traveling to Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. Dr. Nathan Levitan is the chief medical officer there, and earlier today he spoke with ideastream health reporter Lisa Ann Pinkerton.
Thank you, Dr. Levitan, for being with us today.
It's my pleasure.
The twins, Anastasia and Tatiana, are 3 years old, and they're conjoined at the head. Can you tell us how they're fused together?
Sure. So they are what we call angular craniopagus. That's the medical term for twins that are joined at the head in an irregular fashion where there is actually an angle between the two twins. And I believe many in the audience have seen a photograph of these twins. You get a sense of what that actually looks like. This is a very rare condition.
And they share blood tissue and blood vessels, correct?
Exactly. The blood flow to and from the brains of the two twins are actually shared to a great extent.
And what types of the brain tissue are shared between Anastasia and Tatiana?
There's a small area of brain tissue that's shared. We don't exactly know at this point how much, but it doesn't appear to be a major problem in and of itself. It's the vasculature, the blood vessels that are shared, that presents a much more significant problem.
So this means they're sharing the same blood, correct?
Exactly.
And I'm sure that benefits Anastasia because she was born without functioning kidneys.
Correct. So the larger of the two twins, Anastasia, actually takes in nutrition largely for both of them. The smaller of the two twins, Tatiana, does not eat a lot. So Anastasia digests the food and passes that nutrition through her bloodstream to her sister. But in contrast, Tatiana, the smaller of the two twins, has kidneys which her sister does not have, and she provides the filtering of the blood.
So what is the first thing that doctors at Rainbow Babies and Children's are going to have to do before they actually separate the twins?
So there really are 5 steps involved in this entire series of procedures with many components to each of the 5 steps. The first is, once they arrive here, it's necessary to do a number of highly sophisticated radiographic studies, MRIs, CT scans, angiograms, to define clearly what the anatomy consists of, to what extent is their brain tissue shared, and so forth.
And then you'll have to sort of create independent circulation between the two.
Exactly. The next step is to undertake a series of steps to help each child develop independent or collateral circulation to the brain so that when the separation occurs, each can survive on her own.
And then also during that time, I assume you're going to be watching Anastasia pretty closely to make sure that her blood's being filtered enough, right?
Exactly right. Once the blood flow is separated, it's very possible that Anastasia may need to go on kidney dialysis.
So then the actual separation procedure, that's going to, how long and how many doctors is that going to take?
Well, the actual separation procedure is a very complicated operation. It will take place over many hours. It's likely that between 2 teams of surgeons, nurses, and so forth, anesthesiologists, plastic surgeons, there will be 30 to 50 people involved.
Wow, that's amazing. How do you get that many people in one room?
Well, a lot of special arrangements are necessary, a special table for the children, a special device to hold their heads. A lot of very unusual arrangements are made to accommodate this very challenging procedure.
Now, this procedure seems pretty risky. I mean, is it medically necessary?
Yes, it is. If the twins, unfortunately, are not separated, they will not survive long term. Through the result of one of their many medical problems, through the result of infection, where one's infection would travel to the other, it is fairly certain that they would not live beyond the next few years if separation does not occur.
And is that because the way their brains are joined together, it's sort of like having a brain tumor?
Well, I'm not sure I would liken it so much to a brain tumor, but they have medical problems, nutritional problems, neurologic problems. One of them has had heart surgery, the kidney problems that I mentioned, and they share this unusual circulation, and any medical problem of one is encountered by the other.
Now, Dr. Levitan, the girls are traveling from Dallas, Texas, where they've been for about 2 years, where doctors there were analyzing their condition to see if they could be separated there in Dallas. And
That's
instead, the girls are coming here, and the hospitals there in Dallas mentioned administrative or financial issues as to reasons why they decided to decline the procedure. So why is Rainbow Babies and Children's taking on the procedure, and what makes the hospital qualified to do such a procedure if other conjoined twins have never been separated at Rainbow Babies?
Sure. So first of all, it's important to understand that since 1955, there have been only 14 cases of conjoined twins at the head in an angular fashion. That is, this particular situation, only 14 cases are reported worldwide. So this is such a rare condition that no hospital has a series of these children. So in deciding where they should best be treated, the question is really, what is the array of specialized procedures necessary to undertake this series of operations? And so you need to identify those procedures, those specialists, and determine which of these can be performed at Rainbow. And as it turns out, we have the necessary specialty expertise at Rainbow to perform all of these procedures.
Okay, so then this is of course going to take a number of months, all these processes, creating the independent circulation. I understand you're going to grow skin flaps from each of the girls so that when you actually do the separation, you'll have skin of their own type to cover the openings on their heads. So what are the expected costs for separating the children, and where's that money coming from?
Well, we don't actually know what the costs will be, because over time, various medical events could occur that would require a change in plan. It's very difficult to determine upfront what the cost will be. I can tell you that our focus really has been on these two children, on how we can help them, on exactly what steps we need to undertake to help them. Our focus really is not on trying to figure out what that cost might be.
As some have said, it could be anywhere between $3 million to $5 million.
Well, we do know that there will be significant costs incurred by the family for this, and we certainly are looking for ways to help the family deal with those costs. And there are many different ways that these can be defrayed. Number one, we know that all of the physicians involved are donating their professional time. Number two, we know that the World Craniofacial Foundation is providing some funds to cover the transportation costs, the living expenses, and so forth. We know that the Italian government may potentially provide some funds to help defray the cost. Also, a couple of private companies have donated equipment to help us with the procedure as well.
And KeyBank's also taking some donations, and I understand the doctors are donating their own money.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're donating their own time.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. Their own time. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Levitan, for being with us today.
Thank you very much.